It's 4 o'clock on July 6th. This is a meeting of the Community Awareness Committee, Subcommittee of the Raleigh Historic Development Commission. Present at this moment are two members of the permanent committee and 3 staff members. We do not have a quorum as of right now. I suggest we go through the agenda real quick just to see if we want to add anything to it for when we actually do have the meeting, and then tell us what decisions need to be made. I see 2 hours ago, we got an email from Aaron, had just had some bullet points that we were going to discuss, and we're missing a critical member who has all the reporting information, at least most of it. But maybe you could just go through it and see if we need to amend that as the agenda, so when we do hold the meeting, we can cover all these things. And if we can make some decisions or recommendations, we point them out to us. Aaron, you're our liaison, I think.
So there's 3 different items on today's agenda. The first is our typical monthly report from Heather on the social media metrics, what was featured in our HDC posts, how it went, what kind of engagement we had. I wanted to check in because I know either Gaston or Travis or both of you are going to help cross-post onto Instagram. So now that you have that information, I wanted to check you. A, is that happening? B, is it going smoothly? Are you having trouble making that transfer? Is there activity?
I have not. I'll double check my email to see if I can find the login, because I know it's, from what Heather said, it's just monitoring the Facebook page and then copying and pasting that over to Instagram, right? Okay.
Yeah, you have the login. If you can't find it, let one of us know. I think I can dig mine up. I have not logged in. I have logged in and have posted something, but I have no trouble. I just need to set up a tickler to myself to do it every so often, like at least once every week or 10 days, at least twice a month, but once every week I think would be a good idea. And I'll start doing that and let you know if I have problems. What we were going to do is to piggyback on some of the things that Raleigh Hidden History was doing and kind of re-amplify some of those things. I have something specific in mind that she covered a long time ago. It happens to be a historic marker on Hillsborough Street. It's probably the least known little marker, historic marker in the city, but it's on his, you'll see it when it pops up. I'll go over tomorrow or tonight and take another picture of it.
So Gaston, you're talking about a future post for this month that you're coordinating with Heather?
Yes.
That's great. That was going to be a point I think we need to figure out, because typically it has been Heather coming up with the content that we post. And I think she kind of makes a suggestion of a couple of themes at these meetings, and whatever gets the most reaction, that's what we go with. So, Gaston, have you guys done some forward-thinking planning and you've got this month ready to go? Do we need to have any more discussion on that?
No, we don't have any planning, but I can reach out to her as soon as her internet situation clears up. She and I have had a discussion on another topic that, so we have the occasion to talk again soon.
Okay, so we can just leave it to you two to sort out?
Yeah.
Okay, that
sounds good. You'll see it, whatever we do, you'll see pop up.
Sounds great. So the second item is, let me find the agenda, the RHDC website, and how we'd like to move forward with that. As part of this ongoing discussion we've had, I know that we preservation staff have had some internal discussions with our department communications team and asked a series of questions of them. And we've reported some of that back here to the committee. But since we're really working on that in earnest now, we thought it would be a good idea if the communications team came themselves to the next meeting to answer any and all questions from Community Awareness Committee, so that you all are fully informed. You can report back to the full commission as needed on recommendations. since we're sort of juggling whether we're gonna keep moving with what we have or convert to the city's website. Gaston, you look like you want to say something.
I'm sure it's on the agenda, but I'm thinking at some point we need input from. My thoughts on this are that this is kind of a monumental task in a way, and I'm thinking that it's maybe logical for it to be an ad hoc committee, but maybe not. I don't know. I think it's all consuming for the Community Awareness Committee to be tasked with this, although it obviously fits in our slot. But maybe an ad hoc committee bringing some of those commissioners and professional staff who have expertise in this area, not just, the odds and ends expertise, but the nuts and bolts expertise that would be useful. What do y'all think? I just think it's right for an ad hoc committee because it's going to be a pretty big lift. Obviously, the first step is figure out where we have to have a discussion to figure out the pros and cons of who hosts it.
I think we can. I think it could go either which way. If we take it back to the full commission and they decide, like after we review the pros and cons of whether or not we host it with the city or host it ourselves, that would kind of give us an idea of, are we going to have to hire an outside firm or are we going to be working with the city? And then it would be a matter of, do we need an ad hoc committee to work with the city, give them constant feedback, what we're looking for, what we need to see, what we need to do, which I would say probably. But then if we're going to end up working with a consultant or a company to build the website out, it might be less involved on our side.
So the two things, Tanya, are you talking to us? You're on mute.
I'm not seeing her on mute, but I'm not getting it.
Now can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry. What I can say is that if you do choose to go the city route, you're not going to have a city web staff working with an ad hoc committee. You're going to work with preservation staff, and then we will be the liaison to our communications team. So they will come participate, one-off, like an introductory and here or there, but there's as few of them as there are of preservation staff, and they're actually down somebody at the moment. So, the technical piece is there is a, we'll get a lot, let me back up. So whether you go with whichever one you go to, and whether you choose to have an ad hoc committee or do it within community awareness, what you decide you want to do, preservation staff will then share with the communications team. And Katie will talk about this more in August, but from what she said before is that if you go with the cities, that within reason, you will, largely be able to set up the number of pages you want, as long as it is, relevant to the mission. And it, we're using, I think it's ninth grade language as much as possible, making it user friendly. And there are some other things, but as far as the content, they're not going to share that. I mean, they're not going to curate that much. They will be able to tell us what kinds of pages are available. Anyway, so that's my feedback on that.
So we've had a lot of conversation, or some conversation already, with the communications team to figure out what this would look like and what our role in it would be as a staff kind of conduit between the commission and the city. So what we're looking to do is bring them into the meeting in August, so that details, questions like that that you all have, you can ask. And what Katie is going to be able to join us. I think Erin, who's the other staff member at the moment, will not be here, but she's asked that in advance of that meeting, we provide her with a list of questions so that she can attempt to have, full answers prepared for any big outstanding questions that you have. And then if there's anything else that comes up in the meeting, hopefully she can field that too. But she wants to make sure that she's using our time and her time efficiently when she comes. So I did initially push a list of, or actually, no, I don't think I did send that to Heather. I compiled a list of questions that I could remember having heard from you guys before, that some of those we've already answered. But what are your questions that you would like to have answered? And I'll make sure that that's in the list that we send to Katie.
Can you push that pre-existing list to us and let us just respond with I think we're talking about the same thing. In my mind's eye, it would be good for our group to develop the pros and cons of which direction we go. We can think of a lot of reasons: cost, independence, all these things are going to come into play. What we lose, what we gain, all that. So we can help amend your list, so we can bring it to the attention of the board, of the commission in July, but have them ready to participate in a more active discussion in August. And maybe
Pop
even
in, quick pop in. Carolyn is on the line. I've unmuted her so she can comment, but for some reason I cannot make her a panelist. So,
Can you hear me though?
yes, we can hear you.
I downloaded a new system on my computer and apparently I had to download WebEx and oh my gosh, don't even ask. So I came in late. I don't know exactly what we're talking about, but thank you, Tanya, for noticing me. So I don't know exactly what the issue is, and y'all don't need to take time to explain it if we've gotten this far in the discussion. But if anybody just tells me a thumbnail sketch of what we're discussing right now, this project, just the name of it.
We're going through Erin's list of kind of an agenda from 2 hours ago and trying to talk as much as we can. We do have quorum now, right? No, we don't. Carolyn's is a volunteer. But we don't have quorum, so we're just discussing the agenda as a tool to be ready for when we do have a meeting. And we've gotten down to the part about the website, where to host it, and how to pay for it, whether to do it the city or not. And we're talking about working up a list of pros and cons of which way to go and having an active discussion in July. But in August, the technical people from the city will be there to answer questions. So to be ready for a more robust discussion then and maybe a decision.
Okay. I see where we are in the agenda now. Yeah. Okay.
And I should point out that Katie will be fully prepared to talk about all the city options, but she's not going to be able to give us pros and cons for the other option, except how we categorize based on what we like, what we hear that we like and that we don't from the city's options. But I will circulate the list of questions that I already. Tanya did provide some answers on those already based on what we've talked to Katie with in the past. Tanya, should I be circulating that with, potential answers attached? Is that easier?
It's fine.
Okay.
Just with the caveat that that is my recollection from what we've been told, and Katie will clarify. So that's fine.
Okay. So I'll send that out once we're done today.
Is that going to be like a Google Doc thing, or is it going to be something we just replied it? How are we going to handle the input from us?
Right now, it's just a Word doc, but the next thing on the agenda is to discuss
No, it's just an email.
I made a Word document from it and
Oh, I did not know that.
sort of edited it a bit for Katie's clarification when I send it to her, but I can just forward the emails. That might be the easiest thing, to start an email chain.
And do you want us to reply to you only?
I think replying all to the committee would be the way to go so that everybody can see the questions that have already been submitted.
Excuse me, I just have to let a dog in
Sure.
before the SPCA comes.
And I'm not sure how early before the August meeting, Katie will need these questions, but I think the sooner the better. So if we can sort of wrap up any submissions we have by the end of this week, I think that would be the best scenario.
And this is
Oh.
Katie,
Dombrowski
thank you,
is her name,
with a C or a K?
with a K.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll circulate that and we'll use the rest of this week to get it fleshed out. And we'll come back in August with Katie to discuss website.
Caroline, before you were able to join on, we did discuss one thing about not just developing this list, but we talked about you know, how to staff a decision-making process, whether to do an ad hoc committee or whether to just try to hang on to this in community awareness, because I'm a little concerned as how burdensome this process is going to be. Implementation and the delays are, we're aware that delays are not going to work in our advantage because we're barely hanging on to the website we currently have.
Yeah, I agree. It almost seems like there should be an ad hoc committee that has the time to really zero in on it with input beyond that. But otherwise, I'm like, I agree that I think it could be very precarious. If that kind of is what you're, what I got from that.
All right, ball's back to you, Aaron.
Sure. Yeah, I think maybe after we have the discussion with Katie and we figure out how we're going to make recommendations to the commission or return this conversation to the full commission, we can discuss whether an ad hoc committee is needed during whichever business meeting that comes back for. I will say most of the commissioners that we have right now with the expertise suited toward website and social media discussions are in this committee. So the real question might be whether there's just not enough time in this particular meeting each month, and we would want a separate meeting for that ad hoc team. But yeah, we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
We
So
have
the last thing,
one
go ahead,
incoming
Jackson.
commissioner has a lot of expertise, though, don't we?
What's that?
Don't we have one incoming commissioner, potentially incoming commissioner has a lot of it? Oh, that was the one that had to move, right? Who was the one who had all the experience?
I don't know. There are several.
Maybe I'm just imagining it. All right.
But certainly we could benefit depending on the information we want to push out on whatever the new website looks like that are not just on this committee. So opening up the opportunity for other commissioners to join in if they like is not a bad idea. All right, so our last item for today is the ongoing discussion we've been having about COA outreach or historic district outreach and what that will look like. We had that Google document shared amongst the this committee and the COA committee to get input on ways that things we'd like to address, things we think we can do to address them. So do you all have access to that or have that pulled up right now? If not, I can forward it to you. Our goal today was going to be to kind of zero in on all of this feedback in one document and decide what we're going to do, how we'd like to move forward with an initiative.
And Calvin, do you remember this? Do you remember the subject we're talking about now?
I'm trying to please refresh my memory.
It was a suggestion that has a lot of merit of figuring out a way to expand the knowledge of the COA process to stakeholders in the process.
Yes, I do. We talked about the realtors and the changes of ownership, and it just gets lost in the shuffle, and then people are stuck and trying to make it more of a positive. Yeah.
That's it. Period. Send. So Aaron's going to send us the contribute to the document list. It's getting rather robust the last time I looked at it. I haven't looked at it recently, but yeah.
So I just forwarded to our community awareness meeting email the Google document link. And I don't know who added what. I think there's a way to go back and see the revision history of the document to know who inserted which ideas, but I think the pertinent information is on that first page. Suggested ideas for outreach is that first group of suggestions. So we can talk about this now if you guys, because this is gonna kind of steer the way this committee works for the next several months. If we need to wait until we have our committee chair and our newest committee member here to make these decisions, I think that that is probably appropriate. But how would you like to handle it?
Everybody voice, express yourselves. I think that's best to wait.
I agree.
I agree.
So since the August meeting, a good chunk of our time is going to be given to Katie to talk about the website. We could attempt to just make a decision at the August meeting. I'd say come prepared with your top 2 things that you'd like to see us do. And if we can come to a consensus quickly, we can start working on it in September. Since we've done all the brainstorming work already. Does that sound good to y'all?
Yeah,
That's good with
I
me.
think it sounds good too.
Okay, great. I think we probably can't do more than one thing at a time. We could try to, depending on how large each of those items is. But hopefully we're all on the same page when it comes to time to pick something out. All right, and that's all we have on the agenda for today. Do you guys have anything to add?
Carolyn, can you hang on for a minute?
Yes, I can.
Can we close the meeting?
Yep, I guess that meeting's closed, right?
So I hope I'm still on, Gaston.
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
Tanya, you're muted, but I think I know what you're gonna say. So if we're all just gonna still hang out here and talk, I think we have to keep recording it because we're still in the meeting.
Yeah, I can't
I'll go
close
ahead
it
and
and
drop
just
off.
turn off the recording.
All right, well, we won't do that. We'll after the executive committee meeting Thursday, we'll alert you to an issue that's bubbling up. It's not urgent. It's not, I mean, it's urgent, but it's not dramatic and it's not life or death. So
Okay. Okay. That's good.
it's death of something precious to all of us, but it's
Oh
not
no.
life or death to a human. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Way
Well,
more after Thursday.
I will. I will. Thank you for giving me the heads up, and thank y'all for letting me come in this crazy way. I think it just has to do with my new system upgrade, and so I'm going to try to do better next time.
It happens, no worries.
Okay.
And as an alert, Carolyn, before you log off, I don't think that we've heard definitively when this committee will be coming back to in-person meetings, but it is soon.
Okay.
It may not be next month. It may be next month. I think by the September meeting, it will almost certainly be in person.
Okay.
We haven't gotten confirmation on it yet, but just be planning on that. It'll be same time, but it will be the same place for everyone
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in a while. So we'll try to keep you updated on that.
Okay. I think we all remember how to get to the in-person meetings, maybe better than these.
One quick question or request, Aaron, could you circle back to Heather and see what her, besides circulating what we didn't decide today, but figure out what amongst yourselves whether we need to have another meeting before the next scheduled meeting or not, or whether we can, what do we need to do?
I will send her a follow-up email, and because this is recorded, she should be able to catch up pretty easily just with the recording. I feel personally that we don't need to have another meeting this month. We just need to get our ducks in a row with the questions for Katie and then be prepared to discuss the Google document in August.
Okay, there wasn't much imperative that we vote on as a committee anyway, so I think we're in good shape, unless anybody wants to have another meeting this month.
All right. Okay, well, I guess now the meeting is closed and we'll see you. I'll circulate the questions for Katie here in a minute. Please get those back to us by the end of the day on Friday. And we'll see you all in August.
Okay.
Everybody.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.